edition of The Real Talk. We do this every Saturdays from 9 to 10, and you can catch us on Zuku channel 0073 and on Star Times, that is channel 477, to catch the latest news and any talk show biz that you can get to keep yourself entertained. We do this every Saturday, like I said, from 9 to 10. This is called The Real Talk. Yes, we are still celebrating our mothers. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there, because it's still your month and our mothers to be. And today our topic for discussion is, how has the internet changed communities today? And I know that is a very interesting topic, because all of us use internet. I mean, there are so many people out there who are so addicted to internet, they cannot do with internet. Internet is driving people's lives. You know, you wake up and the first thing you go net, see what's trending, get information, things of that sort. But the same way, you can wake up and just one day realize your life has changed, be it positively or negatively, because of internet, and that depends on how you or someone out there is using the internet. So today we're discussing this in the studio with two guests as usual. We have a gentleman and a lady. Let's take this opportunity to have them introduce themselves before we dive deep into the discussion. You're most welcome to Westnile TV. Please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you. My name is Ruth Adibako. I'm a social worker by profession and a user of the internet.
Excellent. I love that introduction. You know, Ruth, and then a user of the internet. Thank you for acknowledging that. I know we're going to have a very, very fruitful discussion on that. You're most welcome to Westnile TV.
Thank you very much. My favorite TV personality, Westnile TV.
Oh, I'm humbled.
I'm very happy to be here, kind of astonished. Privileged to be at Westnile TV. My name is Cesar Sidney Atiguni. I'm a student in very science and technology, doing computer science. Thank you very much for hosting me right now.
It's a pleasure having both Ruth and Cesar here in the studio, and also our dearest viewers for catching the show. You can be a part of this discussion by following us on our Facebook page, that is Westnile TV, and also our YouTube channel at Westnile TV. The link's already there. Do not miss out. You can like, subscribe, and then leave your own your comment. It will be read live out here, and that is the beauty of the internet. When we talk about the internet, we mean a network of interconnected computers that eases communication. I know it has eased communication. Most of you have gotten information, things like that, and all that. And on the other side, some people do not find it, you know, that interesting. I don't know. It depends on how you use it. But thank you so much. So we'll start with Cesar. Has internet affected, changed the communities for the good or for the bad?
Basically, there's much things you have to talk about internet. Me, I love using internet. Internet is something very good, but at a lesser extent also has its disadvantages.
Okay.
But when you talk about internet, what you normally mean about internet is like a global network of interconnected devices that links communication information between people. So there are many positive things you have to talk about the internet, and also we have the disadvantages of internet. So basically, when we talk about internet, we have the positive side. I have to just give you one brief important thing about internet, which is normally used by everyone right now. E-commerce. I always start by e-commerce because online shopping is the deal for us. People don't want to walk in the sunshine, want to do things in luxurious ways, want to be inside a room all the time and do your internet. Use internet for e-commerces. You order things via internet, you get them delivered. The only thing you can do is just go at the pickup point and you get it, which is kind of very easy for you to do it. And once we talk about internet again, we also talk about education system. It's very important in education system because most of the times people use internet for the results and use it for the creating reports, creating about the information about the students. Most times, like for us, we in the Borough University, we normally use our aims, which is just in internet, because we use it to check our results, we check our information about our biography, which is a project in the school, and we use many things about internet in our school. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for putting us out, beautifully, e-commerce, accessing information. But I still ask you a question though. Let's have Ruth, you're an internet user. How has internet positively impacted your life?
As an internet user, internet has impacted my life in so many ways. I could tell way back when I was still in school, internet helped literally go through school successfully. Being a student and also having to work, it was very difficult to be able to attend all your lectures and your classes. So I used internet a lot to self-teach myself through the university. And also I do business, so I market my products.
That is very, very interesting. You using internet for studying, then using internet for, for your business. We'll still continue the conversation. Like I said, this is the Real Talk with me, Ayot Lillian. We are on Zuku channel 0073 and Star Times channel 477. You can also catch us on our YouTube channel, that is at Westnile TV. Like, subscribe and leave a comment. Your comments will be right here. But right now we're going in for a short commercial break and we'll be back with more conversation on the use of internet. Thank you.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Mercula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
And DJ Zero comes on the floor. Chill. Feel. Give me advice.
Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana.
Mudonda bakunyumira wano tewanyuma. Kazena kulapia kati mwe. Tonebya kunyumira dekanzine. Aluwa kiruze kuba zinira mu. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Wangano zina ndawa tonywa bia. Amatuki. Atongoku. Amatuki. Atongoku. Amatuki. Atongoku. Ikatuku mini bia yoba.
Westnile TV.
lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that short break. This is the Real Talk on Westnile TV, lighting up the region. I know somewhere somebody is stuck on their phone following us on YouTube and on our Facebook. That is the beauty of the internet, because today we are discussing how internet has changed lives in our community, and we also look at the negative and the positive sides of the internet. But by the end of the discussion, I believe we shall learn how to use the internet, because a lot of people out there are abusing, internet. So we still come back to Ruth, where she talked about her using internet to do business, education. There are a lot of people out there who still do not know that they can use internet actually to boost, promote their business. So kindly elaborate more on that so that we can have a better understanding.
Okay. You see, we are living in an era where for a young person or youth to start a business, it's very expensive, given the costs of renting up space and having to pay taxes. So the best option to start up small is do online business. So I sell products and then market them online on my WhatsApp status, on my Instagram, on my Facebook, and then I'm able to reach to the clientele that I need to reach to. And then the business moves at a very low cost. And I'm not saying we're using this to evade taxes, but in actual sense, it is a cheaper way of starting up a business. Yeah.
That's a very, very beautiful point there, because people are out there thinking, how can I promote my business? How can I sell my products? How can I get people to know I deal in this and that? But instead of using your socials to do other things, post pictures and then wait for likes and all that, you could market your products and reach out to a targeted audience and get people to find you. I mean, there are people looking for, those looking for work. You can do your profile on your socials and then someone just locates you. And thank you so much, Ruth, for elaborating more on that. And then we come back to Caesar. Caesar talked about e-commerce. E-commerce, someone out there wants to understand more regarding e-commerce, please.
Thank you very much once again. Talking about e-commerce, it's like we are doing online businesses, like buying commodities and products using the internet. You don't need to go into the market and you ask and you bargain for products, but you just do it when you're sitting like home. You just like order for what you really want, and that thing comes to a stationery at a big point. But it's something very cheap doing e-commerce, like online shopping. You just need to get a data which is only 500, and you open an account. You get Jumia, Jiju. There are many sites whereby you do e-commerce. You just open an account, you get your email and you get a password, then you just log in and you get your products that you really want. It saves time for you to go to market at the same time. You take a border B, which is like 1,000, and you come back with 1,000, that's 2,000. You have to buy the product also in the town, and you're really sweating. But you can do that business when you're just inside. Like I just ordered these shoes from Jumia recently at a cheaper price, which is, I even feel happy after right now. I just did it like online. I sat like in the room of my room, like I just sat down. I was like, okay, this is a nice shoes, but I can get it in town, but let me first try to use Jumia. I had to just order it. The price was kind of cheap. Buy my data of 500. I just ordered it. Came in 2 days, which is like at Esho, next to Eshomat. That's where the pickup station is. It's kind of very cheap to do like e-commerce, which is like online shopping. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Caesar, for putting more on that. I love when you talked about, you just ordered your shoe on, those online shopping stuff. But we've seen a lot of people complain about this online shopping. You order something, then you receive something else. Though a few have been lucky to actually get exactly what they have ordered. I know someone out there is saying, yes, this. I don't want to mention some of these online things, but that is it. Ruth, we're still on how internet has positively, impacted our lives in the community. we're still on that.
Yeah, apart from what we already discussed, many of you who have been to the city have realized that transport has been made easy by the internet. You can order for a cab or your boda guy.
The safe boda guy.
Yes, at the comfort of your home, and they'll come and pick you, and it's actually very safe because these drivers and riders are being monitored, and this is all because of internet. So we can move from one place to another without having to worry. And also those who have the nightlife, you can actually get someone or a ride to pick you right from home into the bar, and from the bar back home and safe. Okay. So yeah, that is one way the internet has positively impacted society. And also, you remember during the lockdown, internet made it very possible for the kids to continue learning from home.
Online learning.
Exactly. And it has also made it easy for someone to upgrade in their studies without having to worry about the cost of transport from where you're working to the school, but you can actually do online studies, and we can even enroll to universities abroad without having to go through the entire hassle of having to get a visa. And yeah, literally it has impacted a lot positively.
It has. I know most people finished their courses online during the the COVID period. Most people were on online learning, so kudos to internet. And speaking of internet, it has eased communication. A lot of people, you get to communicate with someone overseas, long distance, but you still keep in touch. We have the FaceTime and all that. So there's a lot of information on the internet. Caesar, turning to you, a lot of information is on the internet. So should we trust all the information that we see on the internet?
Oh, generally, I can't lie to you that you have to trust all the things in the internet. At a lesser extent, we also have the disadvantages of using this internet. But before we dive deep into that, you talked about communication. I think that was the main point which you have to talk about the internet being there for us, communication. You remember during the ATS, like African Traditional Society, whereby you want to pass like information like in a village, someone has died. You don't need to read. There are people who are staying like far distances. You used to use the drums and you yell. But right now, there are many platforms whereby you just sit at your own comfort and you just inform someone about something that's happened. Like using our social media platforms like the WhatsApp, the Facebook, or SMSs. There are many things, the emails. Those things have eased the changing of information and communication in our environment right now, and I'm very much happy about internet. So we don't need to trust everything that's in internet. There are many things which has come about internet. Most times there are things whereby they bring the ads, but most times those are people who do phishing. They bring for you something, trying to involve, like trying to make you believe and be trustworthy that this thing is going to happen, and you literally do it and you find like you're losing some part of information. So there are a lot of things which you have to talk about the other side of internet. Thank you.
Thank you so much for elaborating more on that. We see that it has eased communication. That is true. You can communicate with someone at your convenience, and it has eased business, education. Generally, life has been, much more easier with the internet. Turning to Ruth, how has been your experience, like your general experience with the use of internet?
The use of internet has had both positive and negative experiences. And in my case, at a very young age, I was able to have a taste of the negative side of internet.
Okay, let's go into that.
Yeah, I could reliably say that there was a time in my life when I actually got harassed and bullied on social media. So I can reliably attest that internet can be both of a positive and negative impact.
Okay.
Yeah, in our lives.
Thank Thank you so much. I love what she has pulled out about the cyberbullying and all that. You know, as someone is enjoying using internet, maybe to apply for jobs, get information to better their life, market their businesses, improve their lives, someone out there is trying to make another's life very difficult, you know, by using the internet. So you find people bullying themselves on the internet, sending hate speech, messages, throwing things on someone. Let's bring it to Uganda. We've seen how some people, I don't want to mention names, but we've seen some celebrities nudes being, sex videos being uploaded on the internet without their permission. So these are people who are, you know, in possession of a private information, personal information that is not supposed to go online, but then they get to upload it to the whole world. So everybody has, you know, they get to view, they get to see whatever they've posted, and that leaves a very, very big impact, you know, a very, very big impact on you as an individual, but mostly it's always negative. So turning to Caesar, you're an IT person, you are a specialist in that area. What are some of the disadvantages associated with the use of internet?
Thank you very much. Talking about the disadvantages of use of internet, me personally, I'm a victim. I faced challenges in the disadvantages. I got addicted. That's the first thing. I got addicted to internet, and at a point whereby I was concentrating and I lost the concentration because I will be thinking about my phone is there in the room. There are many things I have to do. I have to watch YouTube movies. I have to do also online betting. But that thing made me addicted to internet, and I couldn't concentrate in class. And I used to dodge classes. But literally, I don't know what happened. But internet, if you're not serious about the use of internet, you will get addicted and you lose most of the priorities which you're supposed to be doing right now at this tender age of years. So you personally, when you're there, you don't need to get addicted, because internet is something, a safe place whereby you can do all the things so equally, so very nice and smoothly. But once you get addicted to it, my friend, my sister, my brother, my dad, my mom, my aunties, you're there. It doesn't matter about the age, doesn't matter about the gender, but you will get addicted. You will be changed from your work, because you'll be watching YouTube videos whereby you're supposed to do in your work, and you won't be doing office work, and you'll be there in the class but teaching people like the teachers, instead of filling in like the results of students, their marks, and you be there in the staff room because you have TikTok watching those reels and cartoons which are in Instagram, and you lose your job. Because that's one thing I face, like addictiveness. You be addicted to it.
I feel like most of us young people are a victim of that. But before we come to your addiction, I still want to touch on what my sister Ruth here talked about. You talked about cyberbullying. A lot of people out there are being bullied, you know, online. Some may not realize that they are being bullied, but there's some that really get to these individuals, and it has a vast impact on them. So how did you feel when you were bullied? And if it's okay, you could tell us how you were bullied. You know, if it's not okay, it's all fine. But how did you feel?
Okay, before I even get into how I felt and how it happened, I would love for the viewers or the listeners out there to know that cyber bullying or harassment is continuous and intentional harm that is inflicted on a person or groups of people that are deemed to be of lesser power or vulnerable by the persons that are actually doing this. And this happens all the time to very many people, and it is something that we've either been victims of or perpetrators of. Knowingly or unknowingly, we have been. And as I mentioned, I have been a victim of this way back in 2017. And I don't want to delve into what actually happened, but I can share the impact it had on me. At that time, I had just gotten my job, and I struggled. I went into depression. and I failed to do my work. And a lot of my work involves helping people out of their own problems. But here I was having to help people out, yet I had no one to help me out of what I was going through. Okay. So it really, really, really affected me, but I had to pull myself out and learn from it. So cyber harassment and bullying is a terrible vice. It's a very terrible vice, and it is something that has been encouraged, I would say encouraged, by the internet, especially social media.
Wow, that's a very, very touching news story out there. I feel like that's how most people feel out there, but they cannot talk about it because somewhere someone is intentionally, like you have put it, intentionally tending to get, ruin someone's reputation, maybe someone's mind and all that. Cyberbullying has a lot of effect more than you can imagine as the person who does it, because I'd give a live example. You can ask the Miss Tourism Westnile 2020 contestants how they failed. The moment their photos were uploaded, actually, the comments that were coming, these ones don't have nyash, they don't have the brain, they don't have the what. There was a lot of comment, and there were these girls who were really, really affected by these comments. People kept posting and putting different things. So some of these girls actually lost confidence. You could ask them, like a lot of them went through a mental breakdown. Some people lost had a very low self-esteem, and it just got into them. So that is just an example of what you are doing to someone out there, intentionally or unintentionally. But what is important is that we should actually pay attention to what we say out there on the internet, because everyone is watching and people get to see some of the things that you are doing. So coming back to Caesar about internet addiction, oh my God, I feel like it feels like people need to be detoxified from this kind of addiction. Like everyone is literally on their phone. You sit with your friends, people are talking to you, but you are on your phone, on TikTok, the socials, TikTok, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, things like that. And you find yourself alone in a world where you are with people. You lose physical touch. And I will have Caesar give a reply to that later after this short break. This is The Real Talk with me, Ayot, Lillian. We do this every Saturday on Westnile TV. Stay part of this conversation by going on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment. It will be right here.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
And DJ Zero comes on the floor. Chill. Different price.
Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana.
Mudonda bakunyumirwa wano tewanyuma. Kaze na kulapia kati mwe. Tonebya kunyumirwa dekanzine. Aluwa kiruze kuba zinira mu. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Wangano zina nda watonywa bia.
Amatuki. Atongoku. Amatuki. Atongoku. Amatuki. Atongoku. Ikatuku mini bia yoba.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon Channel for Best Children Entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
And DJ Zero comes on the floor. Chill. Different price.
Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana.
Mudonda bakunyumirwa wano tewanyuma. Kaze na kulapia kati mwe. Tonebya kunyumirwa dekanzine. Aluwa kiruze kuba zinira mu. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Wangano zina nda watonywa bia.
Amatuki. Atongoku. Amatuki. Atongoku. Amatuki. Atongoku. Ikatuku mini bia yoba.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Tell them. And DJ Zero comes on the floor. Chill. Different price.
Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana.
Mudonda bakunyumirwa wano tewanyuma. Kaze na kulapia kati mwe. Tonebya kunyumirwa dekanzine. Aluwa kiruze kuba zinira mu. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Wangano zina nda watonywa bia.
Amatuki. Atongoku. Amatuki. Atongoku. Amatuki. Atongoku. Ikatuku mini bia yoba.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that break. This is Westnile TV with me, Ayot, Lillian, every Saturdays from 9 to 10 here on Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Catch us on Zuku channel 0073 and Star Times channel 4007 and be a part of this conversation by catching us on our live on our Facebook page on Westnile TV and our YouTube channel at Westnile TV. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. That will leave you. If you have any questions too, you can leave them here. For those who have just joined the discussion, we are looking at how internet has changed communities today, and the things that we have tackled. We looked at the positive and negative impacts of the internet on people today, how best you can use internet, and how you can also wake up one day and just find out that your life has changed. You know, there are people who wake up one day and then they find out they are famous. You know, you become memes on the internet without even your knowledge. Like, people use you to make fun, to kill stress. But that's also a problem, because people just put out personal information without your permission out for public consumption. So there are measures we should take when it comes to putting out information on the internet, because it starts with you. You have to be your first security. And we're still on the point of internet addictions. We've seen how some people cannot do without, you know, their phones. Someone is always on TikTok, someone is always on YouTube watching something. You're on WhatsApp, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram. You're so obsessed with all these things, and we're saying it's not bad, but it is bad when it becomes an addictive habit that we need to cut. So Caesar, we still come on the issue of addiction, handling internet addiction. What are some of the impacts of internet addictions on an individual?
Thank you very much once again. Talking about the addictions of internet, there are many various impacts that you can get when you're addicted to internet. One thing you have to know, if you're a student, is you'll just lose your concentration if you're in class. You won't attend any lessons, you'll be dodging lessons. And you're someone who is working in the office right now, and you are kind of addicted to internet. And one thing you have to be knowing that you'll lose that job, because the time when you're supposed to be working, you might be there on your computer playing online games or watching online movies, or watching, most time people do TikToks or YouTube things, and you are a teacher and you are teaching. Instead of you being there filling in the marks of students and checking the progress of students, what they're doing in class, and you are just there in the computer room because you have a free Wi-Fi and you have a free internet space. You are there watching Nigerian movies, that's for ladies, and you men are there watching the highlights of movies and sports, my friend. You will lose that job, because you won't be gaining that focus of doing what you're intending to do. And talking about addiction, I literally faced a challenge. I was addicted, like my Form 4 holidays, that's like second term, that was way back in 2018. I was addicted to my phone because of internet, because my friends were just kind of far from Westnile. I was studying like in Kigumba Intensive, that's like in Kigumba, and I was always just enclosed inside. I couldn't read. I was just there sending messages to my friends, watching movies, and I literally was one day, I don't want to say it, but I was hit by my mom because I was not reading. Because she always thinks that when I'm always inside there, I am there reading, but I'm there watching, laughing, watching soccer highlights and sending messages to my friends. And wow, it kind of affected me in my results, but I progressed. But one thing you have to know, once you're a student, it's something very good. You can do it for research, you can do it for finding answers. Like we have these days ChatGPT, which is like an artificial intelligence whereby you put in what you want and gives you a response just instantly, because it's like artificial intelligence. Like you're asking someone what is like cybersecurity, and just the person gives you the answers will be coming. Cybersecurity is an electronic device of protecting many things. Yeah, that is it. You can use it for many things, literally, like for education stuff, right? Okay. Research and doing your homework, like home assessments, yeah? And that's what you have to do, but not just being inside there and texting an email and watching movies. And that's one thing that will affect you, and you'll get addicted or not concentrate in class. And once you reach in class, you'll be thinking about your phone and you'll not attend classes. Yeah, that's for the students. Thank you very much.
Wow, when you come to students, you wouldn't want to be always on your phone when you have to be for lectures or be in classes, but that can actually happen if you get so much addicted to the internet. Many girls have stories to tell when it comes to internet addiction, because you have this habit of being on your phone. You even forget to cook, or when you're cooking you leave things to burn on the fire, and then you find your mom all screaming on you. But the disadvantage with the addiction is that internet addiction is that if you're using the internet for doing something wrong, I wouldn't say wrong, but for having fun, that does not productively contribute in your life, then you may be wasting a lot of your time doing nothing. Though you say killing stress, but at the end of the day it adds nothing to your life, so we all wouldn't want that. Ruth, on you, we're still on the internet addiction. I know us girls, that is where most of us fall. Have you ever been addicted to the internet, or are you addicted to the internet? And if you are, or maybe if a friend is, how have they been living with that?
I personally haven't been addicted to internet.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm not an internet addict. I can literally have my phone down for hours without checking it. For instance, today I didn't even look at my phone until around 5.
Wow.
Yes. However, I have seen people who have been addicted to internet, or I have heard stories of persons who are addicted to internet, and you realize that addiction has made these persons lose out on a lot of things. For instance, a married woman could lose her home to internet addiction. Because you are going to be on your phone or on whatever device you're using for internet, and you are going to fail to meet up to your parental duties, to your conjugal duties as a wife, because you're on internet. And I don't think there is an African man that would stand for that. So basically they would look at that as negligence, and before you know it, you have no home anymore. That's one thing that I've seen. And the other effect of internet addiction that I've seen is in the youth is that it's time wasting. We haven't realized how much wasting time impacts on our lives, but every second that passes and you're not doing anything productive within that time, you have wasted a lot of time in your life. That time you will never catch up with. And that explains why many of the youth today are are not employed. And many persons, NGOs, the government is really trying to see that youth are employed. But if we do not fight the levels of addiction, of internet addiction amongst the youth, then we are not going to be able to satisfactorily fight youth unemployment in this country. That is, in my opinion.
Wow, I love what you have said. I think she's among the few people whom I have met who can boldly say that I can stay away from my phone, for hours, even for days, without feeling, all that. But I know people who feel sick when their battery is about to shut down, people who feel sick when they don't have their smartphones, people who don't feel well generally when they're not with their phone, like when they're not using their phone. So their life literally revolves around the use of internet. So I love how you've talked about how we should deal with the addiction. Otherwise, you're going to use most youth out there due to internet addiction. So what are some of the ways how people out there can deal with internet addiction? Let's start with Caesar.
Thank you very much. Once again, there are many things whereby you can deal away with the addiction. You have to get yourself involved in some educative things.
Okay.
Once you're a sporty guy and you play sports, I think at your free time, instead of being on your phone all the time, you take a rest, you go in the field and you play your football and sweat alone, and you come back home. And you're someone who likes reading, because me personally I also like reading. You get your novels and you read a bit, and because that is a time whereby you can put your phone aside and you concentrate on doing something. And you also are there at home and you're a student or you're a worker, you can also resolve this addiction by doing some work. Get yourself fixed in doing some work, and you'll be having lesser time having your phone, and that's one thing you'll know that you're fighting back addiction. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like he has said, if you're an addict, if you're that person who cannot do without your phone, you know, you're always on your phone and you're trying so much like to balance your phone and other things, maybe studies or work, then you have to keep yourself busy. You know, you exercise, you spend more time with people, you know, try to get more physical than more virtual when it comes to your using phone, and that is one way you can get rid of internet addiction. Ruth, what ways would you suggest, you know, for people to deal with internet addiction?
You know, like any other addiction, it really depends on how far gone you are with this addiction. For some people, you may even need therapy. Like any other addiction, you may need professional help out of this situation. However, I feel like if people who love to be on their phones could channel the energy that they put on their phones onto doing productive things. For instance, you do not only have to do productive things in an office or at a business point. You can do a lot of productive stuff on your phone. I have friends that I've told, when you go on YouTube, what do you watch? Because I learned that YouTube has a lot of videos that you can learn from. I remember there was a time I wanted to learn how to make meat samosas because I really love them.
Okay.
But I realized I did not have to go to a school to do this. So I got on YouTube and I just looked for videos on how to make meat samosas, and I actually taught myself. So I think if you find yourself being too addicted to your phone, use that time you spend on your phone to learn something. I feel like you would have used your addiction to do something positive rather than spend it on posting photos. There are actually people who will not sleep until they've posted something. They will change their status after 30 minutes. And they will update their Facebook or social media handles every second. But ask yourself, where do they get this time if they have something productive to do? Yeah.
Okay, use your time, you know, to do productive things. I love what you have said. You can use the internet, right, by going there to find information. Like I said, to improve yourself, you learn new skills, you get to know how to do things, how to improve yourself. I mean, there's a lot of information out there, but it depends on what kind of information you go for. So choose wisely. And we're still saying it's not addiction is not a good thing, because it's going to deprive you from a lot of things. You're going to waste a lot of your time doing things that will not change your life or improve your life. But you can choose, you know, you can go to, if you know, you can limit your time of using your phone, going on the internet to do things. Maybe let's say if you use your phone for 7 hours a day on internet, you can reduce to 6. Gradually things start working out. But then if it goes too much, and then you may need therapy. But why reach that level if you can actually avoid it right now? Start with the small basics, you know, exercise, try to put your phone aside when you're eating, when you're cooking, when you're with family, when you're with friends, when you're outside, you know, just limit your time. And that is that with the addiction. But if you know a friend who is actually an internet addict and needs help, please do reach out to the people who provide these services. It's very important, because in the end we wouldn't want someone losing their mind or maybe losing touch with reality when we live in a real world. We're still going back to one important thing that is so much that revolves around the internet, the use of internet, and that has affected so many people negatively, and that is cyberbullying. I would love it if you still went back and defined cyberbullying again, so that we can dive much deeper into it.
Okay. Cyberbullying is the intentional and continuous harm inflicted on a person or groups of people and most times this is done on internet and on computer devices, and it is usually the persons that are usually victims of these are persons where the relationship is usually having a certain level of power imbalance, or these persons are considered vulnerable. For instance, women or ladies or girls. Naturally, God has put women and girls in a vulnerable position in society. So I must say they are the highest number of victims to cyber harassment and bullying because of this, because of the fact that power imbalance between women and men.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I love the fact that you have pointed out that women are the highest percentage of cyberbullying victims are actually women because of the power imbalance, and also because I believe women sometimes need so much external approval from people. You know, all the photos you post on Instagram, people always, you know, it's about likes and who likes my photo, is it good, is it this and that, and then you find someone throwing a comment that actually brings your mood from 100 to 0, and that you know, we're still going back to the impacts. Let's leave that there. Caesar, cyberbullying, are you familiar with this term? You must be.
Well, these are the major things that hit people badly in the internet community world. Yeah.
Have you ever been bullied?
Well, many times, but being a personality as someone who has been into internet and someone who is doing computer science, you just take it something that's minor because it's something which is supposed to be there, but you literally you can also fight it. To talk about cyberbullying, I want to break it down to people so that they can understand it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cyberbullying is like using like electronic devices, like use your computer, use your smartphones or social media platforms to harass, intimidate and humiliate a group of individuals or a person. That is it, cyberbullying. You be there and someone posts like a pic and you start talking about the person negatively as if it's your thing, as if you know the person. You don't know why the person has placed it there, and you just throw your words against the person, and you don't know what the person is feeling after seeing the comment, and you don't know what the person is putting and portraying there for it. And talking about cyberbullying, literally it's something very bad. It affects badly and has impact such a very bad into mental health of people right now. Talking about it, we have emotional and physiological effects that hit badly because of cyberbullying. You get your stress, you get the anxiety because someone is bullying you all the time on social media, and you lose the morale, you lose your positivity, you lose the sense of humor that you are going through. All the time you are there doing your things online, someone is bullying you, hey, you're doing rubbish, hey, you get that emotional stress, you get the anxiety, you get the fear and the powerlessness. My friend, you will not even be in a community. It hits badly and you get like the emotional and physiological effects in you. Thank you very much.
Wow. So that is how much impact actually your comment of one sentence has on someone. You could cause someone anxiety, you know, someone loses self-esteem, someone becomes mentally disturbed, someone just loses, feels like I want to disappear from this world simply because you left a mean comment, or maybe a comment that has belittled someone. You know, people are struggling out there, so you just need to be selective with your word, know what kind of impact your word is going to leave on someone, and that is just one of the effects of cyberbullying on people's mental health or generally. Ruth, what are some of the impacts of cyberbullying on individuals today?
Lately, when you get to most of the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, you realize that people are posting, uploading sensitive information on people. And this information has a way it negatively impacts on people's lives, on their personal self-esteem, and then on their day-to-day lives, and also at times the lives of their children, the lives of their family members. Because if you posted something personal about me, this information you've posted is not only going to affect me, it's going to affect my children, if I have them, because children these days also have access to social media. It's going to affect my parents, and it's going to affect friends, and it's going to affect literally people around me. I want to take us back to, there was I think that was it could have been 2013, 2014, when there was that sex tape. They used to use sex tape, if all of you remember.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know how true this is, but there was information that the moment the mother of that lady saw the daughter's sex tape, she passed out and died. I don't know how true this is, but assuming this was true, these are some of the examples of what could happen because of this, putting out someone's information like that. I have seen information of people being put out there, and then when you meet these people, they cannot even walk on the streets because they assume everyone has got this information. And people are very, very heartless, I would say insensitive, about this kind of information. So when we get back to how it affects one's mental health, someone is going to lose their self-worth because you've posted this information about them. Someone is going to lose their daily drive and fail to even perform at work, fail to be a good friend, a good wife, because you posted this information about them. And I've also seen how people have become toxic to the persons around them because of the stress, the trauma, the frustration, and depression caused by cyberbullying. You find someone takes it out on everyone around them. And people even fail to improve on, assuming I had a certain vice, and I am not proud of this vice. If someone picked this vice and put it out there, and now I get the feeling that this is a vice that everyone knows about, I'm going to reach a point and stop being embarrassed about this vice. And with time you realize it will become a normal. So some people will think they are actually helping to change the society, but you don't realize that what you're doing is actually worsening the situation. Because if I've been an undercover thief and I'm not proud about it, and you bring it to the public, what else do I have to hide? What am I losing? I'm going to keep doing it because now I have nothing to lose anyway, because it's out there. And what you put on the internet is never going back. Even my children, my great-great-grandchildren will find it there. So I might as well just do it because it's already out there anyway. So I feel like it's not the right way to go about issues, putting them out there.
That is very interesting, something you have put out about the sex tape, about someone's mother passing out. May her soul rest in eternal peace. That is how far, cyberbullying can go. And that is not only that. We've seen people commit suicide, because the information is actually out there, or maybe someone said something to them, or just say they're not good enough, or you're not fit here, you're this, you're that. Even saying someone is ugly is enough for someone to just, withdraw from the entire world and go to being alone, or maybe not want to go on the internet ever again, and affect somebody's self-esteem. That is, people are struggling out there with self-esteem, and I wouldn't blame them for putting some things out, but then you just need to be much more considerate. Coming back to Ruth, as a social worker, we want to understand why actually some of these people behave like that. I mean, the bullies. Why people go, on the internet to bully their fellow people. Are there some factors that trigger them into behaving the way they do, or briefly make us understand?
There are many factors that can actually make someone to either be a bully or be mean to people around them, or to be toxic to people around them. And one of them could be family background. There are persons that have grown up in families where they are not taught how to be considerate about other people's feelings or the feelings around them. For instance, there is a maid at home, and as a parent, you are giving your children the impression that the maid should be treated whichever way they feel, as in you feel like, because they are a domestic staff. So your child is going to grow up thinking that it is okay to treat people in a way that doesn't dignify them, simply because the person is either at a lower level than them, or maybe because if they're in offices, it is because someone is not of your standards, or because someone is just a woman, or because someone is a man. That is one thing I think people behave. That's one reason I think people behave like that. Then I also think frustration and frustration is one of the reasons why people behave like that. Because people have turned social media as a therapy ground. Someone will come and offload anything on social media as long as it makes them feel better at that moment, regardless of how it makes the persons that will access this information or the person in that situation feel about it. For instance, if there are people who have lost someone from murder, and because they still have that pain, they may choose to post information about a certain murder and say all kinds of things about it because of what they feel about their own experiences. Then there is also some people are just sadists. They're just sadists.
Wow.
They will never come on internet and post something positive. They will never come on internet and say something good about someone. They feel happy when another is hurting. I would say, personally, I would think that is a form of mental disorder. Because you can't honestly be happy when you see another person unhappy. You actually look for reasons to make that person unhappy just so you can pick pleasure out of their sadness. So I feel like the majority of the persons who do this on social media are just persons who are doing it because they just feel like, I can do it and I can get away with it. What will you do about it? I'm going to go on social media and say Ruth is a thief, and Ruth will do nothing about it. They just do it. And this is because despite the laws that have been put, these laws are not being enforced. They are not being enforced. And because people feel like in Uganda you can beat the law whichever way you feel like, people just do as they please without caring how it will affect the other person. So I feel most of the reasons are just around that.
Okay, so actually some of these bullies are people who are affected by their family history, maybe what's happening in their families. You know, when there's no love on your family, then there's no way you're going to show love to people out there. When you're surrounded with negativity, imagine you live in a home where they always tell you, you know, you don't have nyash, you know, you don't have the looks, so you're just going to go out there throwing this at people. And we have people who are frustrated and they feel that's the best way to let out their frustration, you know, by frustrating other people. But we are saying it's not cool. She talked about sadists, and if you're such a person, just know you're hurting way a lot of people out there. And you can actually change. Yes, you can change. Don't be a sadist, and don't make someone's life miserable just because you see them happy on the internet. And one fact is, people fake a lot on the internet, so it wouldn't, you know, you wouldn't gain anything by thinking you want to ruin their happiness. There might be people struggling with a lot of things. So we'll throw the same question to Caesar. Why do some of these people, you know, become bullies on the internet? We want to understand where all this is coming from.
Thank you very much. Before I talk about that, but I want to bring an example. What really happened? There's a saga that happened like some months back, a little saga. Let me just put it in quotes. It's something that comprises of like a radio station personality and a daughter of an MP. If you really follow news, there's a saga that was there in Lura whereby this radio station guy was dating an MP's daughter, and people, they were very fine with it and they were very good, but they did their things and yeah. But they had your nudes which were in the phone, but things like your man and your boy like swelling, you tell them, oh man, I'm done with that one, I'm done with that person's daughter, and people be, it's not a fact, I can't believe it, and you saw something, okay, this is what happened. A friend literally just got the guy's phone and posted what really happened. What does that portray? And that thing hits, but it brings an impact of like social isolation. You are a friend and you put something which is supposed to be a privacy thing and you put it like on internet and you're killing someone's social fame and killing someone just on media. And one thing I really want you to tell people, do those things because my friend Ruth was telling us there are things people do because they are sadist here. I really believe it. The people have problems. The people have their own problems and they find social media a place whereby they can just throw anything literally. It's just a trade there and don't mean anything. And the people want to gain fame from bad things. You have to desist. That's not where to do it. You must tell us like when you use like you're good in Twitter. Most of the things which are in Twitter are just fun. People do things because they just want to gain fame because you are posting something and make someone feel happy and someone just likes you and follows you. That is not it. You have to be someone who is social and someone who is kind of civilized when you're using this thing. Because it's something which is broad and it's globally and it's known by everyone. You are not just going to think that's just going to happen in Uganda, that's where people only know about it. It's going to be worldwide. And what does it portray if you're a Ugandan? What does it portray to people who are outside?
Thank you, Caesar. We shall continue with that conversation, but for now let's go for a very short commercial break. When we come back, we shall look at how we can get people out of cyberbullying each other, how we can deal with cyberbullying, like if you're a victim or you're intending to, or you know someone who is a victim of cyberbullying, how they can deal with it. See you shortly after this break. This is Westnile TV, The Real Talk with me, Ayot, Lillian.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Merkula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
And this is Zero Kalz on the flow. Chill. Feel. Give me five seconds.
Tekina kitambana, nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana, nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana, nami ndo kitambana.
Mudonda bakunyumirwa wano tewanyuma. Kaze na kulapia kati mwe. Tonebya kunyumirwa dekanzine. Aluwa kiruze kuba zinira mu. Lekanzine, toja zina. Lekanzine, toja zina. Lekanzine, toja zina. Wangano zina ndawa tonywa bia. Amatuki, atongoku. Amatuki, atongoku. Amatuki, atongoku. Ikatuku mini bia yoba.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. This is Westnile TV with me, Ayot Lillian. We are on The Real Talk. We do this every Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. here on Westnile TV. And today our topic for discussion is how the internet has, affected communities today. And you can catch us on Star Times channel 477 and Zuku channel 0073, and on our socials, Facebook Westnile TV and YouTube channel on Westnile TV. Like, subscribe and leave a comment. We shall read your comments here. We looked at the advantages and disadvantages of internet for those who have just joined in the conversation. Then we zeroed down to cyberbullying, as it's one of the crimes that is committed on the internet and is affecting a lot of people. You could be bullying, cyberbullying someone, intentionally or unintentionally, but we say you should desist because it has adverse effects on people out there. And we have looked at some of these effects and they are definitely not good. How would you feel if someone did that to you? Always think before you put out someone's personal information. We've seen how people just pick somebody's personal information, and throw it out there on the internet for the world to consume. But then these are private things that these people do not want everybody to know, but you have put it out there. Have you sought permission? You could be sued for this. I don't know, but we're in this discussion with Caesar and Ruth right here. Like I said, you can be a part of this conversation by just leaving a comment on our YouTube channel. So I'll throw the question, starting with youth. How best can we deal with cyberbullying?
I think already our government has taken on the first step, which is to enact laws and laws that are against this kind of act. The only thing now left is for these laws to be enforced by the law enforcement bodies. And then also, as us who are being bullied or who are being harassed on social media, we need to know that there are laws that are protecting us from this. And we don't need to sit down in silence. We need to be able to report these persons to the authorities for doing this, because the more we keep allowing people to do this to us and get away with it, the more they are going to keep thinking that it is okay for them to do this to people, and they will never stop. So that's why we need to make sure that we take this up with the law. That's one. And the other way that we can desist from this kind of act, if you're the kind of person who loves to bully others, I would advise or suggest that you try to channel all this energy into doing positive things. We derive a lot of peace a lot of joy and satisfaction from doing good than doing bad. Of what good is it for you to go out there and make fun of another situation? What good does it do you when you pick another person's agony and think it is okay for you to justify your actions on media making fun of this agony? Some of you claim, I've seen this common term, that we are cleaning the city. My dear, you are not cleaning anything. You are just making matters worse. You are creating more demons out of baby demons. Because evil is not fought with evil. It is only good that is going to fight the bad. So the more you think you are going to bully someone into stopping a bad vice, the more you're encouraging them to do this, or they are going to pick up worse vices that are worse than what you think you are actually clearing. So I feel like we need to channel all this energy into doing good. Secondly, let the youth get productive. Many of these youth who come on social media, the persons that come on social media, at times have nothing else to do. Otherwise, how will you explain being on social media and causing harm 24/7 if you really have productive things to do? So we need to get more productive, prioritize, have priorities for our lives, and stick to these priorities. That way you realize that if you ask yourself, when I get on social media and post something about Ruth, how much am I getting paid for that? Am I going to earn anything out of this information? Will this pay my bills? Most of them do this and then end up sleeping on an empty stomach. You get? So when you realize that actually doing this is not something of priority, then you are going to try to look for things and prioritize things that have benefit to your life. Yeah, I think for me those are the two things I think people need to look into.
Wow, our dear viewers, I hope you've all heard, Ruth talk about all those things. You do not know how many people are out there wanting to get information on someone. So you know that one post you make can actually change somebody's life so much. So always take permission from someone before putting out something, or maybe think about it before you do something. We have our YouTube channels coming in from Abdul Malik Mansour. He says it has both good and bad effects in our community. I personally I learned a lot through internet religiously about my career and world news. Thank you so much, Mansour. That means you have been using the internet positively, and kudos for that. Thank you so much. We have Ozil. Pardon me for the other name. He says, to me it has affected the community to neglect God instead of prayer. People, especially youth, cannot give time for God, and that comes back to internet addiction. It's Sunday, you need to go to church, or maybe it's time for praying, you're on your phone, your mother says let's go and pray, you're always on your phone, so you neglect God. We have Mongu Bikonyu from Pakwach. She says, I have terms and conditions that govern my life on Facebook. First, I post I post in a month, 6 comments in a month, and above all, I learned that not everything needs to be posted on Facebook. And oh my God, thank you so much, Mungu, for that comment. We all need to have those guidelines to help us, when we're posting out things on social media, because there's some kind of information that you definitely don't have to put out. She continues, and not every post you see on Facebook needs your reactions. I mostly use internet, YouTube in particular, for learning what I do not know. Thanks, Lillian. Thank you so much, Mongo Bikonyu. Thank you for that comment. I feel it's a very, very rich comment, because you don't know, she says you don't need to put everything on the internet, which is true, because you don't know who is using your information and all that. Not every post needs your reaction. I mean, there are these people who feel like I should be liking every post, I should be leaving a comment here and there. So if you follow some of those things, I know it's going to be helpful. It's going to help with the addiction and also help you not to bully someone, you know, unknowingly. And we're still on how we can deal with cyberbullying. So we come to see this is how best can someone deal with cyberbullying.
Thank you very much. I want to give like most thanks to the Ugandan government right now. They have passed a law that they misconduct use of internet. Once you misuse someone's property, like which is on internet, you will be charged. You have to pay like huge sums of money, which is not less than 3 million, or else you'll be jailed. That's one thing the government has done. You just take my pic because from laying a brick and that you take my pic and you post here, you see, and I can just show you because you didn't get my own view, you didn't get my conscience of posting. I didn't allow you to do it, so I can go and just tell you that, oh, my friend, I've reported you and you have to be inside, have to be silent. Okay, there are many cases and scenarios whereby we can reduce the impact that we're facing in cyberbullying, and that takes us like in cybersecurity. Cyberbullying doesn't mean just once you post something on media and someone throws something back at you. At times people just even hack your accounts and they get your things without you knowing it, and that's where we apply cybersecurity. Now, what do you talk about cybersecurity right now? Cybersecurity is like a practice of protecting like an electronic system. It's a practice of protecting like an electronic system that is like the data from like unauthorized use and damage, and that is it, from damage. So you can just do it by like creating a strong passwords. That's one thing in cybersecurity. Those are the traits whereby you can do it. There are people hack your accounts, like you have weak accounts, your Facebook, Instagram, Google, whereby you put all your things and someone hacks it and just removes like your nudes or removes something that you don't want to be shared like internet, like globally. And that's one thing you have to know. Okay, we sorry to interrupt, we have comments coming in from YouTube. We have Vaikoboa Emmanuel who says, I'm live from Mitchell Hall using Mac Air. Yes, I know that feeling. Thank you so much for using Mac Air. And we had Robert Parachan from Kenya. Thank you, from Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you so much for catching us live. And we have engineer Simba Zuber Brahan who says, thanks for the show. It's literally worthy to watch. Thank you so much for appreciating, and we appreciate you for watching. Please to continue. And Abdullah Mansour, still on that, says, I'm Malik, watching live from Kampala. Thanks for the show. Thank you so much, Mansour. Thank you very much. I was still talking about the cybersecurity, whereby you can just be bullied, like when your accounts can be hacked. And one thing where you can solve that cybersecurity of you being bullied is like putting like strong passwords, whereby your accounts you have to put like over. You can mix characters, you mix letters and numbers. You have to create like strong passwords. There's also one thing you have to be knowing, like malware. Malware is like a threat in cybersecurity. You can also be bullied socially, like using software. Bullying like on internet just doesn't mean like you posting your things or just talking about you. Someone can literally put a virus in your accounts. Your accounts are all cracked. You don't have any social media platform because someone wants to just pull you. You don't have to be any platform. That's why we talk about malware. Malware is like a software, malicious software, where you can talk about the Trojan horse, you talk about the worms, you talk about the viruses. That's where you can fight against them by using like the antiviruses, and you create like strong updates in your accounts and your social media platforms. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for putting that, from an expert point of view. Much as we freely use the internet, to get information, to learn, to connect with people, to improve our lives, to learn skills, and then put yourself out there, in this world where we seek jobs. It's also important for you to put out your profile, so that people actually find you. Someone goes on your socials and sees what you have been doing. It's also a great way for doing advocacy and all that. But we are saying it's not safe. The internet is not safe, because anytime somebody can hack your account. We've seen people complain about their accounts being hacked. You have a friend, maybe on WhatsApp, you've been viewing their status, on Facebook, seeing their posts, and then suddenly you find someone goes into their account, starts asking for money from all the contacts, and start posting, all these pornographic movies, these nude pictures on their statuses, and then you have to, it's a lot. It causes a lot of damage. So he's saying be vigilant, like he says. You can use two-way authentic something. I don't know the term, but you guys know it. And you could use strong passwords. Don't give someone access to your computer, maybe your phone, someone to get access to those things, because they can easily hack it by getting it physically or maybe just remotely. So please take caution. So we come to Ruth. How can we protect ourselves, from cyber bullying?
One of the ways we can protect ourselves from cyberbullying is by minding or watching what we post online. Because most times a lot of the information that people use to either bully or harass us is information we have given them through our social media handles or through our status updates. That's one. Two is change your passwords from time to time. Don't keep the same password for a very long time, and don't use the same password for different sites. For instance, you have the same password for your email, you have the same password for your Facebook, it's the same password you use for Twitter, for Instagram, and whatever other internet or social media sites that you use. Try to have different and strong passwords for the different handles.
Well, thank you so much. We still emphasize, the use of passwords. The people who use obvious passwords, like their date of birth, maybe their parents, and all those things, people can easily get to know those things. And when someone gets into your account, especially if you're in a relationship, someone gets and sees your private chats and then exposes them, it causes a lot of damage. But we're saying that is a lot to deal with. Cyberbullying is a crime, in case you do not know. And if you have been doing it unintentionally, then please desist, because you are causing harm to people. And we have equally seen companies, companies who suffer because someone gets information on the company and then highly private information, then puts it online, and then people get to use it to do other things. So in Uganda, there are helplines you could actually report. I know you can report. You can reach out to report to report issues of cybercrime. There's Sauti 166. There's Child Helpline Call Center. You can also reach the police, but the nearest person can be someone, a parent, a guardian, a teacher, a mentor, or anyone, or even a friend. But do reach out. And we would go back to dealing with internet generally. I want to throw this question to you, our viewers, and also our guests here in the studio. Has the internet affected morality in our society?
Wow, that is it. It has affected the morality of our society. Me, basically, I used to stay with my grandmother for some time, and I used to learn a lot about the ATS, how we used to do things. Internet has affected the morality in our society in a ways. Let me just take a side whereby it's the ladies' side. Just quoting it, I don't want to talk about it, but I just want to talk about it. It's not very good in the society, because all the time you're on the internet and you see people putting on their kind of clothes, like the small ones, because they've gained their fame, and they just put on them because they are going to just perform like on the stage, like the artists or the musicians and the celebrities, and most put on them online. They're just going to put like perform. But seriously, you don't need to just follow everything the other person is doing. Someone puts like a short cut, and what are you portraying? Because I've seen something very short like in the internet. Okay, let me just get it, because in our own culture, we normally put something which is also kind of above or below the knees, but right now people do things because okay, they have seen their friends are on the internet, they're putting where their ties are kind of okay, let me also do it, but it's not good. That's not the morality we really want in ATA. Seriously, it's something that's not very good.
Thank you so much, and then we come back to Ruth. Briefly tell us how the internet has affected morality in our communities today.
Okay. Before I get into that, you know that morality is something that is relative. It varies. What is morality in this society is not morality in the other society. And what may be moral here may actually be immoral somewhere else. So, you know, in some societies, of course, like Caesar has said, that putting on very short things is immoral. But then there are societies like in Uganda, when you go to Karamoja, they almost move naked. And it's actually not considered immoral to do that. However, yes, social media has affected morality, but also I feel like I want to particularly tackle the abuse that social media or internet has had on children. You know, children have a right to remain innocent. They have a right to their innocence. So these things that we post on media without minding who sees them, children are actually saying these things, and it is affecting them. It is creating vices that we never had. For instance, currently there is this whole talk about homosexuality, lesbianism, but where do you think people are learning these things? We may actually be accusing the perpetrators of the crime, because I think it's a crime, I don't know. Yeah, but we may be accusing these perpetrators for teaching these children, but in actual sense, these children are learning this from the internet. There is a lot of information, videos that are free of charge that they can look at. I've even heard there are certain places where there is information on Adam and Adam, Eve and Eve. Yes, and it is children's learning material, and they are claiming that they are using this information to create awareness on homosexuality and lesbianism. However, is it the case?
It's not. Well, thank you so much, Ruth, for that input. Ruth and Caesar, thank you for joining us today. As we conclude on how, you know, whether internet has affected our morality or you can tell for yourself by referring to the kind of content that we see online. You know, we have viral videos of people going naked on the internet, posting nudes and thinking it's okay, all that. And also we're saying you should filter the kind of information that you get on internet and be very selective with the kind of information that you consume. Be very, very careful when you're posting, you know, don't put out everything, and most importantly, use strong passwords to ensure that your socials, your things are not tampered with. Cybersecurity is very important, but it starts with you. When it comes to cyberbullying, we're telling you to report this to the police. You can call the police and report to any other helpline where you can get help if you know of a friend who is suffering from so and all that. Thank you so much for staying with us on this very special edition of The Real Talk today, as our discussion has been on how the internet has changed communities today. Thank you so much for staying with us, and for those who took the time to comment on our YouTube channels, thank you so much. Catch us again next Saturday from 8 to 10 p.m. here on Westnile TV, on Zuku and Star Times, and our socials. See you again next Saturday. My name is Ayot Lillian on The Real Talk. Thank you.